all about oil rigs. Because they want to build an oil rig here.
Oh yes, she's...
Yeah, hi, my name's Andy. I'm part of Stop the Swanage Gas Rig Group, and I'm really happy to see so many people here assembled outside the Molem. INFRASTRA doing an information day inside, but from the information we've received from so far, they just kind of make it up as they go along. So is there any point in going along to an information day? The best thing anybody can do is to come out here and see the truth, because we have everything. We've worked it all through. We've gone through their website in detail. We've gone through all the statements, and the truth is that this thing is going to have a massive and terrible effect and impact on Swanage, starting with the traffic coming through Corfe Castle and through housing estates and up through a narrow country lane, massive vehicle convoys going up to the site, which is right above the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Swanage promotes itself as a beautiful town, a holiday town, one where people come to enjoy all of the outdoor activities, and as the gateway to the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and right next door to Delston Country Park, separated by nothing more than a 2-foot high dry stone wall, is going to be a 16-acre, that's how much land they've actually rented off Suttles, a 16-acre industrial complex which will have refineries and pumping stations for oil and gas and so on and so forth. And the whole thing is absolutely shocking, a travesty. People of Swanage do not realise the danger that they are in, and it has to be stopped. Thank you.
I've heard that they haven't got planning permission stuff. I heard one lady saying that they have
The planning went through last November, and in such a fashion that actually nobody in town, including myself, knew about it. I didn't know about it until May this year, so 5 months went by before I even heard that they'd got the planning through. But they need 3 things assembled. One is the onshore drilling license, the second is the offshore drilling license, and the third thing is the planning permission. Everything was in place, and then for some reason they lost the onshore drilling license. We don't know exactly why. But anyway, that has gone, and they hope to be getting that in the next round of awards. The thing to bear in mind is that anybody can apply for a drilling licence. The actual licence only costs about £1,000, and so INFRASTRA are not a huge company with a drill ready to go. They're a little company of 3 or 4 people who have got the drilling licence. They don't really know what they're doing. They now need to find a partner who's happy to come in and do the drilling, and they could be anybody. BP have turned it down. They don't want anything to do with it. Maybe because in the 80s BP drilled from Swanage Quarry and all their drilling muds leaked into the sea, causing a small environmental disaster. If they had reached the gas and oil first, this would have completely wrecked Purbeck for all time. So thank God they couldn't actually get to the gas and the oil reserves at that time. BP dropped an option to buy INFRASTRA's shares in January, causing INFRASTRA's shares actually to halve in value overnight. And until INFRASTRA attract a partner who's willing to plough millions of pounds into what is probably going to be an extremely sensitive and highly opposed plan, they actually cannot do anything. So we hope that situation remains the same. The initial prospects that they're going for are gas and oil, and they are conventional wells. That's true. However, one planning application leads to another, and it's very possible actually that they won't even actually need to make a new planning application to start fracking, because the Department of Energy and Climate Change are changing the rules in line with the government guidance that anybody who has a well can go on to fracking without making another planning application. So the people of this town will have no control over that whatsoever. And on the geological reports from Southampton University, all of the land between Delston and the Isle of Wight under the sea is labelled as a high hydrocarbon area ideal for fracking potential. I think that speaks volumes.
Stick that in your bag, that's new anyway.
campaign is the current
'cause we all know the way it should be. Stand by me, 'cause we all know the way it should be. Stand by me, 'cause we all know. Stand by me, 'cause we all know. Yeah, does God even know?
Hello. We've been investigating fracking for a couple of years, and we wish things were all right, but they're not, because we've studied the entire planning material for the California Quarry in Swanage, where the company called INFRASTRA, which is also operating in Northern Ireland with the exact same setup and application. Only in Northern Ireland, the farmers are in the roads with the tractors, and they formed a limited company, and they are much more organized, I'd say, than I've seen in many places. We're very organized here. We are several groups, and for such a small place, I think that's remarkable. Some are more into the rig side itself, some are more concerned about the fracking in general. But what we can see from studying the entire planning material over and over is that there is no documentation substantiating the statements made. It's not consistent, it's not hanging together, and we even see handwritten notes sort of hinting at, you know, make sure they don't suspect that we're going to frack. I'm not saying they're planning to frack, but we have no sense, no feeling of where this is going, and that's not comfortable, because we know that the bedrock is not. The way to illustrate the bedrock is not like a sponge cake. It's not horizontal layers. It's zigzag up and down, and especially here in Purbeck, it's a very broken up bedrock, and nobody knows what's in the bedrock until you look. And since we have a government apparently easing the regulations on the fracking to attract investors, and at the same time no clear plans and no business plan, we are deeply concerned. Our local scientist says that it's actually part of exploratory drilling to also exploratory frack, which didn't really make us happier. It's a beautiful place here, and I'm brought up to fight for what I love, and I love Swanage. But they admit that the fracking experiment in Blackpool caused earthquakes.
Hello, my name is Frances Leader, and I'm from the Protectors. We're an organisation nationally, and we are fighting fracking and drilling generally in the UK. We are the people that caused such a kerfuffle at Bournemouth, and the same people that caused just as much at Barton Moss. We've now got 6 different sites in the UK that we're protecting, and this is one of them. We're here today because INFRASTRA have decided to hold an information event here, and I've just been up there to be informed, and I didn't like the fact that I was being lied to, so I started shouting at them really and told them the truth so that everyone in the room could hear, and they asked me to leave. It's most bizarre. They didn't want to admit that fracking is going to occur here. They are sticking to their story that they won't be fracking, that they're doing a conventional drill into sandstone. But in order to get to the sandstone they're referring to, they have to pass through the shale. And the only way to get oil or gas out of shale is to frack it. And who's going to know if they've done it or not? Because there's not going to be a person from deck up there monitoring what they're up to. So no, I don't believe a word they say, and I'll be going back up there as soon as I have had a little drink and let them know the truth again.
Just had a little track off badge, but like...
Hello. Hello. I'm a resident of Swanage, and I just think that It's time to stop messing about. We've really got to get these renewables on the go. All the renewables possible. Get our candles out and take it seriously. That's it, really. That's why I'm here today. I don't trust the big energy companies. They say one thing, but we're going to be watching in Swanage to see what develops and how things evolve over the next year. And if there's any risk to our environment, we shall be there resisting it. That's it. That's right. Well, we don't want that situation to happen. We want to be ready for it, want to be informed, educated, and we want to recognise that if that's a real risk, we want to recognise it and come out and resist it.
What you have to didn't know before is the law being changed so that when they start drilling for oil, they can morph it into fracking without asking permission.
Yes, well, exactly. That's my concern, because I've just been in to speak to the CEO of INFRASTRA, and he was very much talking about and wanting to get the message across to me that it's all about oil. But he did, I think it was a slip, he did let slip by saying oil or gas. I'm not sure that he meant to say that, but so that made my ear burn. And you know, as I say, you can't trust these big oil companies that reap such profits. So you have to be ready for any development, really.
It's not as if the government never lied to us, is it? They've been caught out a few times, haven't they?
They have. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
I'd just like to put a word in for our friend Charles Miller, and I will read his qualifications. Charles Miller has been a consultant engineer in the oil and gas drilling and well control industry for 25 years. And previous to that, he was the technical and managing director of engineering companies here in Britain. And we're very lucky to have his knowledge, because he gives lectures on hydraulic fracturing, so that he's spreading the awareness and the facts of why this is such a damaging process to the environment. So, you know, we do have our expertise amongst us.
I've done some DVDs there.
Oh, so bless you. Are those the ones we've got already?
Yeah, and I did something.
I noticed you've got some DVDs here about free energy.
Free energy, yes.
You give them away free, which is fantastic.
I think it's important people know there's an alternative which doesn't interfere with the Earth's grid. It's all in the quantum field, the 0 point energy. And they're using it, apparently, generators, these energy generators, in 30 countries, like Nikola Tesla. That's what he invented earlier on this century. And the government have shelved free energy for over 100 years. Because they don't want. Well, I wonder, what does that tell you? I wonder why.
Well, I suppose there's no profit in it?
No profit. Well, follow them on it every time.
And does that apply to windmills? What about that as free energy? From what I can see, the government's giving us two choices and forgetting to give us the third, which is just free energy.
Now, why? I wonder, they would lose a lot of money if that came out, and they would also fall like a house of cards.
I thought you'd be more interested in saving the world. But anyway,
I go to demonstrations against windmills and against fracking. And if you go to a fracking one, the windmill people are antagonistic, and you go to a windmill one, it's the fracking people antagonistic.
Right. Yeah. This would be entirely different.
Way that we can all meet
a third way, and it would be a different world if we had brought that free energy in, because it would cost just pennies. These bills are going to go up and up, and people are not going to can't afford it hardly now. Well, this is where they've got us, but this is the way out, and they would lose their grip on control on the whole of this planet.
And they lose their profit, no
And
doubt.
they lose their
exactly.
profit. Yes, yes.
From what I can make out with free energy, each home or dwelling space would have their own machine. Generate their own energy.
Own energy.
To anybody.
And what else is unbelievable is there's more output than input. So if you have a look at this DVD, which is for nothing, it's just to get the word out to people. And I hope they will look at it. That's
To give us the idea.
absolutely, yeah.
We can't feed a DVD through the cameras, so
We can't, so I'm just...
look up free energy, everyone. Look up Tesla.
Nikola Tesla.
Yes.
Nicola Tesla.
He had it wrapped up.
Yes, he did. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So they're giving us false choices a lot of the time. It's not this or that, it's let's start again with the whole thing, start from ground zero and find the really clean, anti-disruptive answer to this, and the government has it hidden away, which is the free energy movement.
That's quite helpful. The natural
This is just a little extract from some of the information we've got here on the table. And this is all the areas surrounding where they want to dig it up and pollute. It's a beautiful area. This treasured Jurassic coast. And that's all they want to do is pollute it. For dollars. For dollars. You can see the people here have done a lot of research. A massive amount of information available. Go to their websites and I'm sure you'll find this information on their websites. And you need to remember, this might be in Swanage today, but tomorrow it'll be your piece of the coast, your part of the country, your village. And then your part of town where there's any little green space they want to dig under, because they have the perfect legal right to do that now, thanks to our government digging and fracking for dollars.
It's been a
Because it used to be a rubbish tip.
From the coal.
The rubbish tip, they covered it over, and then what happens is as the refuse decomposes, it naturally gives off methane, and that's what these things are all about. Which we've got on the leaflet, which is a good thing, is anaerobic digesters are all about stuff decomposing and giving off methane, and you can put anything into them. You can put in human, waste, refuse, anything you want, and a rubbish tip is a natural supply of that. But what they do currently is they have these pipes that go into the ground that have an igniter in them, and so they just burn the methane into the gas and flare it into the air and don't utilise it. That's what he's saying, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is that you should be at least collecting that and utilising it.
This is what you said, this is what you need to ask also county council, what they haven't dealt with.
Well,
they haven't dealt with the methane.
no, they haven't. And so people are actually constructing anaerobic digesters. For example, they've got one at Dorchester. What's Prince Charles's thing called?
Oh yeah,
Poundbury.
Poundbury. They have got an anaerobic digester in there, and that's where they get their gas from. So they are doing it. I mean, they're starting to spring up all over the place, and apparently, all over Germany, villages have got these in large enough supply. Large enough anaerobic digesters that they get all the gas for the village from that. So each village is just equipped with its own local methane supply, which is free, because when you flush the toilet, what do you do with it? You don't want it anymore. If you can turn that into methane, look at that, problem solved. It's easy. And while we're at it, the current going past Dirlston here, it goes down 60 or 80 feet straight down, out as far as you can see, and the current is like 8 knots on a spring tide going backwards and forwards. And so you've got about £500,000 worth of energy an hour flowing right past this point here, that if you were to tap into it, it'd solve all the energy problems, but not just for Dorset, but you'd be able to do most of the south of England just from that one installation. You put half a dozen of those around, it's utterly predictable because you just get your tide tables out and you go, I know exactly how much energy we're going to get because the tide tables tell me that on the 14th of January 2023, you're going to get 3.8 knots of current coming through. That tells you exactly how much energy you're going to generate. You place them at different intervals so that each one is peaking at a different time, and therefore you have a constant, continuous supply of energy. Out of sight, out of mind, forever, end of story. Simple.